Ben Simmons, man, I mean, I don't think anybody really knows what the hell is even going on with Ben Simmons at this point. Pretty sure the Nets announced that he was going to sit for the remainder of the 2023 season with a back injury. Whether he's actually even injured, who even knows, man, at this point. There was a point in time where I wasn't even sure if Ben Simmons was even going to even continue to play in the NBA. From his stint or tenure with the 76ers and that whole fiasco of not playing and then, being out with an injury, which I really don't blame him for in Philly. And I'll get into that, a little bit later on. But even now with the whole Brooklyn thing, like, his future is really up in the air, man. And even when Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant was still there, I mean, with the way he was playing, I kind of thought that, I thought that it could still work. But after they had left, I was kind of just like, I don't even know if he's going to get another NBA contract after this year, or after this contract is up. I think he still has like 2 more years left on his contract, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. Fact check me. It might be 3 years, might be 2 years. I know he's still under contract though. And he's under contract for a lot of money. Like, it's not like it's fucking peanuts that, they're paying him like 10 million, 15 million or some shit like that. Like peanuts that they could just, extend on the books and pay him like 6 million or 5 million a year and just, keep him off the roster and focus on who they got. Like, nah, they're paying him over, I think, 20 million a year. So, nah, that's a lot of fucking money to just pay somebody to not play, I've seen, I think the Lakers did that with Luol Deng. They were still paying his contract up until I think maybe 2 years ago he finally came off the books for the Lakers. I don't think the Nets really want to do that, especially not after acquiring all the assets that they have. They have draft picks, I believe, as well, too. And then they got a bunch of young guys, a bunch of young talent and stuff like that. So, the sky is the limit, really, for the Nets. They can go either way. They could try to, move some guys and try to get some star players, some all-stars or whatever. Or, they could go the route that we seen the Hawks take back in like 2017 or 2018, we seen the Hawks when they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they didn't really have a star player. They just had a bunch of like all-star / starter caliber players. Just a team of just all for one type of roster, and we haven't seen a roster like that excel in a very long time. In fact, probably since that Hawks team that had like, I'm trying to remember who's on that team. I know Kyle Korver was on that team. I think Al Horford was on that team. I can't remember everybody that was on that team, but they had a bunch of guys. They didn't have no like standout star player or superstar player, and they still managed to make a deep playoff run. I think the Nets could go that way as well if they don't want to try and get a superstar. But the future of Ben Simmons is honestly up in the air at this point. And, before people, try to shit on him or just throw him under the bus again or say that, he just needs to quit or retire and stuff like that, I personally thought that it would work out in Brooklyn. I personally thought that even with him not scoring, even with him not shooting the ball, just passing the ball and stuff, I thought that Ben Simmons could still work next to Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Why? You have 2 really prolific scorers that can put the ball in the net anywhere on the floor, from 3, mid-range, getting to the rack. Kevin Durant can finish. Kevin Durant can shoot the mid-range. He's a sniper. He can shoot the 3. Kyrie Irving, he can shoot the 3. He can, work in the mid-range, and he can get to the rack. And he's probably one of the best finishers we've ever seen in the NBA as far as finishing around the rim. He could do it all, I've watched Kevin Durant, evolve as a player. He did a lot of playmaking while he was in Brooklyn, helping his team distributing the ball and stuff like that. And same thing with Kyrie. I've seen a couple of games where Kyrie turns into a really prolific playmaker, and he's racking up 7, 8 assists and stuff like that. Not really surprised by Kyrie because he's a PG, and that's really what a PG's job is supposed to be. But for Durant, I was kind of surprised because that's never been Durant's game. Durant's game has always been scoring first and foremost. You know, the playmaking has always fallen on somebody else on his team, whether it was, you know, a Kyrie, a James Harden, whether it was a Steph Curry, whether it was a Russell Westbrook. It wasn't really his job to play make. His job was mostly to put the ball in the net, you know. But with that being said, I really do think that, you know, or I really did think that, you know, it would work, because even if you say that Ben Simmons can't score the ball, he can't shoot, he can't knock down a free throw, Ben Simmons at the end of the day can still defend at a high level. And then on top of that, he can distribute the ball well. He's a very good passer. And not only is he a good passer, but he's a willing passer. In fact, he prefers to pass. So he's very unselfish, you know, as far as playing goes. It works perfect because you're next to two ball-dominant star players, and now you have a third star, quote-unquote star player. I don't know if we call him Ben Simmons a star player anymore, but quote-unquote star player who can now distribute the ball, you know. It was the perfect scenario for the perfect storm. You know, like I said, we didn't need Ben Simmons, and I'm saying we as the Brooklyn Nets. I'm obviously, you know, a Mavericks fan, not a Nets fan, but they didn't need Ben Simmons to score. You know, I think the Nets was really just one piece away from really being a championship like front runner. And I say this to say that I think they just needed a guy who could come in and give them 10 to 12 points per game. Now, where would they find that one piece? I don't know. Don't ask me. They got to figure it out. They got to move somebody, trade somebody, you know, give up some picks, something, finesse something, find somebody that's going to ring chase. I don't know how. But all I thought they were missing was just that one person that could be that third scoring option for them. And they didn't need much, 12 to 15 a game. That 12 to 15 points per game that they couldn't get from Ben Simmons, if they could have got that from that third piece and then just slid Ben Simmons in as that fourth piece of like, hey, distribute the ball and guard whoever the hell we're playing. If we're playing Luka, guard Luka. If we're playing Kawhi, guard Kawhi. If we're playing the Celtics, guard Tatum. You know, if we're playing the Suns, guard Booker. That's all they really needed from Ben Simmons. Yo, guard their man, distribute the ball. KD and Kyrie will handle the offense. That third option that they could have got, all they need is like 10 to 12, maybe 14 points from him. You know, it wasn't TJ Warren. As much as I liked him in Phoenix and even in Indiana, he's just been inconsistent. And it wasn't really Seth Curry either, because Seth Curry had a pretty shit year, in my opinion. He had some games where he popped off, but he just didn't have, like, you know, a normal, decent year that he would normally just be, you know, cooking and popping off and going off. And it was just really the consistency that was the biggest issue. And even Joe Harris struggled as well, too. Which I totally forgot about Joe Harris. And that right there is why I'm saying that they still needed that third person to give them that 12 to 15 a game. If they had somebody else giving them that 12 to 15 a game, I truthfully think that the Brooklyn Nets could have been championship front runners, or like real legit championship contenders, man. As for the future of Ben Simmons, like, honestly, I don't know what Ben Simmons is going to do, man. I don't know if he's even really injured. A lot of people are saying that it's just, you know, a mentality thing. It's all mental. It's all in his head. I don't know. I'm not Ben Simmons. I'm not in Ben Simmons' circle. I couldn't tell you if he's really hurt or not. But the one thing I can say is that I do think that he still has a lot of basketball left in him. You know, I think it's going to take him just reinventing himself and understanding that he's going to have a different role. You are no longer going to be that all-star / superstar player, you know, or even star player. You know, I've seen it happen with Russell Westbrook, where he kind of relinquishes that role. I've seen John Wall do it in, you know, Houston and in LA with the Clippers. More recently, we've seen, you know, Al Horford do it with the Boston Celtics, kind of sliding in as that third to fourth option of just posting up or, you know, finding a corner. And we've even seen Blake Griffin do it, who was a superstar, the number one option on his own team, a playoff caliber team with the Clippers. And now he's been relinquished to just being a role player or a bench guy or a rotation guy. So I do think that Ben Simmons can find a place. There is a place in the league for Ben Simmons, you know, because one, he's not even a one-dimensional player because he can play make at a high level and he can defend at a high level. So he kind of just has to just stick to his strengths. If he doesn't want to score the ball, I get it, in the modern NBA, it's kind of hard to stay on the floor if you can't shoot the ball because everybody needs to be able to shoot the ball. The best part about the modern NBA is that everybody can shoot. It creates spacing. It opens up the floor for just better basketball. But I do think that there is still a place for Ben Simmons in the modern NBA, man. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. If you think Ben Simmons, you know, is going to snap out of this. What do you think the future holds for Ben Simmons? I'm out, guys. Peace.